first. Stop. Stop. Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute and I checked it and I have people watching, which I didn't really expect, to be honest with you. So, I've noticed I've been slacking, so I figured I should make a video. But for those of you who are new, my name is Jess. I've been vlogging, or I am vlogging, my experience as an electrical apprentice, going through my apprenticeship. And for those of you who are back, thanks for checking in. It's been nice seeing everyone's likes and comments, and I appreciate the suggestions on videos and stuff. This is my dog, Axel. What are you doing? He's gonna be a nuisance because I'm on the ground and he hasn't seen a lot of stuff. Oh, big stretch, big stretch. Yeah, so he's gonna bop in and out, of course. So this is part one. That's two. One. I don't know how many parts, but we're gonna be talking about the necessary tools, the nice to have tools when it comes to the different phases in electrical. So if you're a residential electrician, there's normally three areas that you're going to be working. It's either services, rough-ins, or finals. And for each area of resi, you're going to have, some tools are like interchangeable between, most tools are, but there's some specific tools that you're going to use for each stage of it. And each part is going to go through a different one. Today's part, I'm going to be talking about roughing in. For the better part of 1.5 years, I was roughing in with the last contractor I was with, the only contractor I was with. I don't care what anyone says, roughing in is hard on your body. It takes a lot. If you're doing it for like consistently every single day and like the crew likes you there and wants you there, you should be proud of yourself. It's hard work. At the end of the day, you're exhausted. You're done, and my fiance can speak to that. I was usually on the couch by 8 p.m. sleeping. So let's get into it. Roughing in, there is normally, I would say, 3 or 4 tasks that consist of roughing in. So what is roughing in? Roughing in, you're pretty much at the very beginning stages. You get into the house and it's framed. People always used to ask me like, oh, you working outside today in the wintertime? And I'm like, well, yeah. No, like I'm inside, but I'm outside. And I swear to you, it's way colder in those houses than it is outside when it's winter. That wood just like holds in all the moisture. Hello. Hi. I know. It's not time for you right now. Can you maybe go over there? Thank you. So yeah, you start off in this framed house. There's nothing in there. Axel, can you? Sir, go. Go. That way. Go to your bed. Go to your bed. Go. And when you're roughing in, there are 3 or 4 main things that you're going to be doing. So there's boxing, there's pulling, there's tying in, and I don't know if it's a 4th one, but it's wire protection. So let's talk about the first one, boxing. Boxing is usually like what the apprentice does. Like that's the very first job they're going to get you to do. So you're going to be putting up boxes like metal singles. You're going to be putting up your lights, light boxes. You're going to be measuring those out. You got to make braces. You're going to be putting out your receptacle boxes, all of the boxes in the house pretty much. But with that comes bracing out your lights. It comes with blocking out switches. So if you can imagine like a framed house, you're going to have a door frame. It's usually 2 2x4s that are together. If you think about it, the final houses, they have trim on it, so you have to account for the trim. So what you're going to need to do for that is put a block of wood. So you need a block of wood for those cases. You'll need a block of wood for centering lights. We do minor framing. So for that, I highly recommend, I went on Facebook Marketplace and I got, I don't know what size is it 6 or 12? I don't know. It's a Milwaukee Circular Saw. Oh, 6.5. 6.5. Did I say 6 or 12? I meant 6 or 7. So this is going to be really handy. You don't need, like, some of the guys on your crew will probably have one of these, but I don't like borrowing these, and this is something you're going to absolutely need throughout your career. So I use this every single day pretty much, and I've had the same blade for 1.5 years. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, it does the job. So that's one thing I would definitely get. Don't get the little one that's like 4 inches. It's just, it looks sad, it sounds sad, and you're not gonna get through a lot of wood with it, and the battery's gonna die really quick. So when you are boxing, a lot of people tell you not to wear your tool belt or to wear your tool, it depends who you're working with. I like having free hands, so, and I know it's like not the greatest to have extra weight and carry that around, but I wear my tool belt just because I do like to have free hands, and you're pretty much only going to need your hammer and your impact. Depending on your contractor too, mostly in resi, I think you have to buy your own tools. Well, it's hand tools across the board, whether you're commercial or residential, but especially for residential, they expect you to buy a lot of things, which some things I can understand, some things like bits I don't understand, but whatever. My dog's playing with this. Boxing, you're gonna need your impact. I was pretty lucky. I did the pre-apprenticeship program with the union and I got a lot of free tools. This was one of them. So I just had the Milwaukee. I have a smaller battery because it's easier on your elbow. Like, I know it doesn't seem like much, but when you're doing that 1,000 times a day, it adds up and your elbow starts to hurt. I just have the 2 amp battery. Yeah, the M18 2 amp battery. It's very light, it's nice, it does the job. You're also, and this one is just the basic Milwaukee. Some of the guys said I want the brushless ones, but they're expensive. This does the job. I'm gonna use it until it dies. You're going to definitely need red Robby for boxing. That is the bigger square, if you don't know what that is. You're gonna need a red Robby bit. I like the longer 6-inch ones. It's easier for tying in, which we'll get into later. And then I have a hammer. So this is my 16-ounce Estwing Hammer. This is pretty much, my dad's an iron worker, he recommended this. All the guys at work recommended this one. But basically there's some rubber, I don't know exactly what it is, but this kind of takes the shock wave out of it when you're banging in those nails. And for my tool belt, I usually put, so I won't have anything in it other than my hammer. And then I'll put my, I know, I'm putting a Milwaukee drill into my DeWalt holster, but I have this on the right side since I am right-handed, and so I could hold this or hold my hammer, and then in my pouch I'll literally just have screws and nails. So my other hand, so I have 2 hands, screws, hammer, whatever, drill. Works for me. So that's pretty much all you're gonna need for boxing. It's not a whole lot. Oh, you're also gonna probably need, a tape to measure out your lights, or if you haven't already, mark the heights of your receptacles and switches. I have the Stanley Fat Max. You're gonna want a long one. I have 25 feet for the lights, but this one, I need millimeters, and this one doesn't have millimeters, so I had the Milwaukee one, but it broke on me. So, and I spent money on this one, so I'm not gonna buy another one until this one breaks. And with that, you'll also want, like, I don't have a marker on me, but I usually use just a Sharpie. And then the second part of roughing in is pulling wire. So a lot of apprentices, from what I was told, I don't know if it's true, don't pull wire. My contractor was lacking on journeyman, and apprentices that knew what they were doing, I guess. I don't know, but I did do a lot of pulling, which I'm grateful for. It was great. Like, I learned so much and I'm thankful for it. But when you're pulling wire, I totally agree with that. There's literally no point of having your tool belt on you, because you literally only need your side cutters and your hammer. These are both the only tools that you're gonna need. I guess these are technically nice to have because when I joined the pre-apprenticeship program, they gave me Milwaukee side cutters and they gave me a Milwaukee hammer. If you didn't notice, they're partnered with Milwaukee. This hammer is great because it takes a lot of the shock and the stress out of your elbow and your wrist. I was finding after a few months, I avoided the hammer because it was just killing my right arm, to the point that I was waking up at night and it was bothering me, like I was in. This is only, I think it's like $30 or $40. It's really not that much for the amount that you're gonna be using it and how much it's gonna save you on your elbow. And then I also had Milwaukee side cutters, but those were really hard to get through. I don't know why they were so stiff, but they were. So I splurged and I got the nice to have Klein side cutters. I used to have the angled ones, They're a little easier when you're trying to pull out staples, but these ones, those ones fell into a porta potty. Yeah, so I had to buy another pair of these. These are a little pricey. They're about $60, I think. I'm not sure, but at the end of the video, I'll link everything into the description. You guys could check it out. But yeah, these are great. They literally have not at all seized up on me. I love them. These are, I would argue, must have. Car pulling wire, I will literally just put this into the right side of my cargo pants, and then I'll put this inside my ladder. So you're carrying your ladder with you all the time, just plop it in there. And then the only other thing you need is staples, which normally I had like the pouch, the kangaroo pouch hoodie, put them in there, or I put them on the other side of my cargo pants so that I could just whip out a staple, grab the hammer, and have at it. So the third part of roughing in is called tying in, cutting in. Basically, you're just putting the wire into the boxes that are there and grounding them and rolling them in nicely. So normally when you are pulling, you only put the necessary staples so that when you are tying in, you still have to carry around your hammer. So at this point, I know how many tools I need. I need quite a bit, which I will show you guys, but at this point I do put on my belt. In my belt, I will have my hammer, of course. I will have my drill that I already showed you guys. I will pretty much just have my side cutters, which I already showed you guys too, and I will have my strippers on me. These are, I guess they're a nice to have. I had, again, Milwaukee ones, but these ones are the Klein Romex ones. I don't know what they're called exactly, but I'm not sure exactly how much they were. How much are they? They were worth it, is what they were. So basically, these are meant for roughing in. I don't know if it'll. There we go. So at the very end, you'll see that it's when you cut in. We use a lot of Romex, so the far end is meant for 14-2 Romex, and the middle one, or the last to the, I don't know what side, the other one is meant for 12-2 Romex. But basically, instead of carrying around my knife, which you should also have a knife, I will get into that, but basically instead of stripping any Romex with my knife, I'll use these, and it's way faster. Some people don't like these because they argue that you're gonna cut into the insulation of each wire, but in all honesty, I only did that once, and it was probably one of the first times I used it because it was so sharp, but I did it once in a year and a half. These are so good, it'll save you so much time. Usually with my knife, I had an X-Acto knife, again, Milwaukee. It did break on me, a piece of drywall gone in it, so I've been using this hook knife to strip 14-3. It is really great. It's just very sharp. You have to be very, very careful. This is a must-have, absolutely a must-have. But back to these strippers, with my knife, it probably takes me, let's say it takes me an extra 10 seconds just to, and then with this, I save that extra 10 seconds. You're stripping so much wire a day that 10 seconds adds up to like, I don't know, half an hour. And the fact that it just makes you that much faster, you want to be as fast as you can. So get the right tools if you want to impress and speed up. And once you have all the tools that you use regularly, it's just practice, 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 and you'll get quicker at it, I promise. So like I said earlier, you do need an impact. Yeah, I would not show up to a job site, a resi job site, without one of these. I know commercial, they would supply you these and maybe a hammer drill, I don't know, but you definitely need them on your own in resi, buy them. And then with that, I would make sure you have a red Robby. I would make sure you have a Phillips bit. I just have a short one. It's a little, I don't know if it's gonna, it's a little one. These I usually use for certain devices like fans to get the cover off and put the wires in. This is what you're gonna need for grounding, and because you have to get so far in there in the box to ground it, there's about, I don't know, is it 2 inches deep, the box, sometimes a little bit deeper if they're the plastic ones. And like you could see the difference, it's a lot easier to get in there with a longer bit. And then another nice to have is a hammer drill. Again, like it depends what your company or contractor supplies you with. At mine, we had to buy our own bits. I'm not sure why. That I don't agree with. These ones are amazing. These are Bosch, I believe. They came in a 3-pack. You're gonna wanna buy the 3/4. An inch is almost too big because of the 2x4. 3/4 I would say is a good size. It's the most popular size. 6 inches, I use this for like odd one-off holes. And then when I was drilling out, I guess I forgot a step. Before you start pulling, you have to drill out the house, but usually the journeyman will do that. I did buy a bigger one. This one's DeWalt, but I do like the Milwaukee one way better, or the Bosch. I don't know why I don't like this one. It doesn't cut as smoothly as the other ones. The other ones are like butter. So, but anyways, we had to buy these ourselves. You will, if you're drilling, need a longer bit because there are those big, like the studs that are like, I don't even know how many together, 6? There's a few. It'll be a big chunk that you'll need to get through, so. Or ones that you just can't reach. And when you're short and you have little arms, you want one of these. So some other nice to haves, I would say, is an SDS drill. Now, of course, it's not necessary, but the only reason you usually need it in resi is to get through the mortar for poking your wires through into the exterior light boxes. And use this, it's just a little hard on your hands and your wrists and everything else, but the SDS is really nice. You don't even feel it. It's great. My journeyman had one, I used it, but it's like $800, so I don't have that kind of money. When you're an apprentice or first term, second term, the dough is not rolling in right away, so you don't have to buy it. It's nice to have. I do have a solution though. So when you do have to get through the mortar, I would recommend using one of these. Well, maybe not this one. I used to have one, I lost it. It had a piece of metal here that you could, it was meant to like hammer on, so you would just put this into the hole, hammer it in with your hammer. But yeah, it's basically just one of the bigger flatheads. Yeah. So those are pretty much the tools that I use for roughing in. Oh, we didn't talk about wire protection. So wire protection is like the very last step after you've cut in everything. Basically for wire protection, we're talking about running boards. So kind of in the attic. Yeah, it would only be the attic. In the attic on the second floor, any wires that you're running have to be protected by a 2x4, so that's where you would, again, I would just carry around my hammer into the ladder, put a handful of nails in your pocket, and you're good to go for that. And then you also need your hammer for protection plates. So when you're drilling through studs, or whoever is drilling through studs, if you're too close, I think it's within 32 millimeters, we use millimeters here. If you're within 32 millimeters, you have to use a protection plate for the stud. A good trick that I use is if it's 2 fingers from the edge of the stud, or if you put the protection plate on its side and you're touching the wire, if the wire is here and you're touching it, then you need a protection plate. And yeah, you would just need your hammer for that. Those are all the necessary tools that I use for roughing in. Again, I guess it depends on who your contractor is, but I can guarantee you're gonna need hand tools. I can guarantee you're gonna need at least an impact, maybe not the drill. I mean, like the circular saw, I would say is a must-have. Nice to have is the SDS. And again, depending on your contractor, you might have to get some bits and some auger bits. This is called, I don't think I said that, this is an auger bit. I was blessed enough to be part of the IBW pre-apprenticeship program. They set me up with a lot of these tools. I only had to buy a handful of them, which I'm super grateful, but I think they said it was about $1,000 for the bare necessities. I want to say it was around that much money to go to like a residential company. I don't recommend buying the nice to haves, like even the side cutters. If you have a pair of side cutters, regardless if you like them or not, maybe just stick it out and get the side cutters a few months in. Like you really don't need these. This is kind of a nice to have too. Don't spend extra money that you don't need to spend. Just use what you have. Use it till it dies, and then when you start getting good money or you have a little bit extra, then I would definitely invest in the Klein side cutters, the Klein strippers, what else? And definitely an Estwing hammer. It'll save your elbow. That's all I have for you guys today. This was part 1 of, I'm not sure how many parts, I'm thinking 3 parts, rough-in services and finals. But this was part 1 for tools you need for rough-ins. I hope you guys like the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Peace out.